Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm Danny, this is Project Fern, and today we've got another video on my crazy little Vauxhall Meriva VXR. In my previous video I told you that there was brake judder about anything over 50-60 mile an hour really. You could feel it a bit when you were braking at high speeds as well. In my service video I had a look at the discs and pads. They did look old, a little bit heat damaged, but there was plenty of meat left on the pads. Discs were a little bit scored. Fingers crossed this sorts it today. If not, I'm not too bothered. We're going to have to start investigating other things, whether there's play in the rack or anything like that. But it should be a pretty straightforward job today, getting these discs and pads replaced, and I say fingers crossed it sorts our little issue out. Here's our lovely new discs and pads. I think these are a 308mm brake discs on the front, which are a nice size really compared to what the standard size are. I've got some brand new brake pads to be putting in as well today. Pretty straightforward sequence. I'm not going to be going into too much detail. Everyone will pretty much know how to change discs and pads on these. But I just thought it'd be a nice little video, and it'll also document all the work that I'm doing on this car. I've said previously, if everything's alright with the engine and stuff, and it can be fixed, price dependent, Mum and Dad are going to be buying this car. I know they bought the blue Berlingo off me, but that's for putting my brother's kids in. And then they're going to be probably running around in this and enjoying this car because it's just in absolutely amazing condition, inside, outside really. It's been really well looked after, and it'd be nice to just keep this one in the family. As most of you'll know who follow my channel, this is literally the last car I've got left. The S3's gone, the green Fiesta's gone, the Sport Car's gone, the blue Berlingo's gone, obviously the pink Focus gone. We've had some right cars over the past few years on this channel. As I was explaining to people the other day, this isn't the end of Project Fern. I'm still going to have a project car about me. It's just the unit's going, and I'll be back doing it in the back garden like I used to do back in the day. I won't have a big unit cost over my head because this is just a hobby of mine, something I enjoy doing. I enjoy making the videos, I enjoy editing them and all that stuff. But I'm going to be keeping my eye out for something special. I've not seen anything since I bought this that's like excited me really. Lots of projects and stuff, but I don't want to be getting stuck into some big 2-year projects and stuff. I like quick things that need a little bit of work doing to them. They're quite quirky and nice little cars to own really. So enough of me jabbering, let's get this car jacked up and let's get these discs and pads done. So we're ready to start now. Really simple to do. You've just got 2 bolts on the back of the caliper and take this retaining clip off. And then you've got the pad carrier, which are 2 bolts on the back as well, which will let you take the disc off once you've taken this little Torx bolt out. I don't know if the new discs come with them. It does annoy me when new discs don't come with them. But if you buy budget discs, they tend not to. You've got this little wear indicator here, which will make a big squeal I think when your brake pads get a bit low. Just got to make sure they go on back in the right place. But let's get this stripped down now, get everything cleaned up and get it ready to have the new discs and pads put on. These 2 bolts now, top and bottom, are 7mm Allen keys, hex sockets, whatever you want to call them. Okay, so that's the retaining clip off, and also the 2 hex bolts from the back that hold the caliper on. It's basically just being sat in place there by itself, but before I take it off I'm just going to give everything a good soak there with some brake cleaner and give them a clean off before I put all the new pads on and the new discs on. Just clean all the dust off the caliper as much as I can and make them look a bit prettier. I've given the caliper a bit of a clean off, It's not perfect, but it looks better than it did. I believe Halford's blue caliper paint is the closest match for these. It'd be nice to get them whipped off at some point and get them painted again. I think it just really freshens a car up, especially if you get the wheels refurbished. Really sets it off and gives it a bit more curb appeal. I'm going to just literally pull that caliper off now, inspect the seals, make sure everything's alright, and get the piston pushed back. Right guys, it's job stopped because the carrier bolts, the pad carrier bolts are an E20 torque socket, and unfortunately I've only got an E18. And by looking at the carrier bolts, I'd rather buy some brand new ones as well, as the new discs or pads haven't come with new bolts. I always like replacing them. I don't know how long these ones have been in for, and for the sake of a couple of quid, I'd rather get some ordered, so it's going to be job stop for today. I'm going to quickly get this built back up, and we'll check back in when I've got the carrier bolts and the right socket, and we'll finish the job off. We're back at it. I've managed to get hold of a E20 female Torx bit. I got a Blue Point one because I was feeling pretty posh. So I'm going to get these discs and pads taken off now. I tried getting some new pad carrier bolts, but they just don't seem to sell them anywhere, so I'm going to have to reuse the old ones and put some Loctite on them. I've got the torque settings for them somewhere. I don't know if I've mentioned that earlier in this video, but we've got the new discs and pads as well. So let's get that stripped back down to where we were last time, and we'll crack on from there. I also forgot to mention that in the meantime, from stripping it down last time, I have had the wheels balanced as well. With there being a vibration there, for what it costs, I'd just rather to get the front wheels balanced, see if that was causing any vibration. To be honest with you, I've not drove over 60 miles an hour in this car. We're just going through the heat wave, or the heat bubble, whatever they're calling it at the moment. It's 41 degrees outside. It's nice and cool in here, but these brake discs are piping hot, so I'm just going to give them a minute to cool down, and then we can get the new ones on. And then get it for a test drive, and fingers crossed that slight vibration we're feeling is gone. I've whipped the caliper off, and I've undone the two E20s on the back there. They've been copper slipped up in the past. I don't know if that's the right thing to do on these kind of carrier bolts. I always thought that you put them in dry, maybe put a bit of copper slip around the mating surface, but I'd be cleaning that off myself personally and putting a bit of Loctite on them, and then putting some grease on top of the bolt just to stop it getting corroded or anything. I'm going to get that pad carrier taken off now, get cleaned up. You can see it's a bit dirty inside, a bit grimy down there as well, and then we can get this disc taken off by undoing this bolt that's keeping it in place there. So that's this side done, all the clips back on. We had the carrier bolts which were 70 Newton meters, we had the caliper bolts which were 35 Newton meters, and this little bad boy here was 8 Newton meters. So I'm going to get the wheel put back on this side, get the other side done, and then we'll crack on with the fog lamps because I've got the bits to sort that out today as well. That's the driver's side done now. Get this wheel on and move on to the fog lights. Everything's cleaned up. I've not put any copper slip on, just see how we get on with them, just going in raw, as I should say. I don't know what lubricant you're supposed to use these days. There's arguments for copper slip and for out it. So I'm just going to go without on these and see how we get on. I've got two brand new front fog lamps for the car. I know only the bulbs were missing with the connectors on the back, but one of them is water stained, looks a bit corroded inside. So I thought I'll get on eBay. Got two brand new fog lamps. These fog lamps fit all sorts of cars. They're not just for a Vauxhall Meriva. I think they fit in Focuses, Transits. There's loads of things that they go in. That's the model code, 088358 if you want to have a look. I think I paid about £10 each of these, £20 for them. So I'm going to pop the front grills off now on the bumper and get these new headlights put in, fog lights sorry, and hopefully that'll fix another job. I've removed the surround from the fog light, and then there's just 4 screws there that hold it on. So the universal fog light fits both sides, driver's side, passenger side. So I'm going to get these screws out now, put the new fog lights in and test them before I screw them in, and hopefully that fixes the problem. Sorry for the lens flare, but we've got 2 working fog lamps now. A few of the screws have rounded off, a few of the clips have broken stuff, but I'm not bothered. I'm just going to get a couple of screws in each one and get some new clips and screws ordered and pop these grills back off another day and get them put back in so they're fully secure. But that's a good job for today. For £20, got the fog lamps back working, so I'm just going to pop these grills back in now. That's another couple of jobs done on the Meriva. We've done the front fog lamps, fixed them, and we've done disc and pads on the front, and we've also had the wheels balanced. So I'm going to give this a test drive on the way home now. Hopefully that's sorted the vibration out when you're driving. I am going to be going on the motorway, so I'll be able to tell straight away. If not, and it's still there, we're going to have to dig a little bit deeper. But 2 more things ticked off the list now. We're going to get this car over to the VXR specialist, get timing belt done, water pump done, gearbox oil done. There's a few other bits I want doing on it as well. The knocking noise on the engine, I've had a few people listen to it and they think it might be just like a pulley noise, like a tensioner or something. So fingers crossed it's going to be something like that, and when I have the timing belt done it's going to fix it. But I hope you've enjoyed this video today, and I'll see you in the next one.